Hi, this is Chris, chap in the cap, Motolegends. Today I'm going to talk to you about a heated glove from the Dutch brand Macna. It's a glove called the Azra. Here at Motolegends we like heated clothing. We don't like it all, and truth be told, we're not a fan of some of the better known brands out there. A lot of it we find a little bit heavy and cumbersome, and at times the technology that is employed by those brands is a little bit outdated. Now, we really rate the American brand Warm and Safe. Their gear is the warmest, it's the most reliable, it's the easiest, lightest to wear, and because they use Bluetooth, then you end up not having to have that spaghetti junction of wires connecting the controllers to the jacket. In the very coldest of conditions, so if you're the kind of guy who gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning to commute into work, if you ride in the coldest conditions, then it's absolutely the best. These guys also do heated gloves, they do a heated pant, they do heated socks, although in our view there comes a point where if you need all of those, you probably have to ask yourself, is motorcycling really for you? Now, the other brand we like is Macna, the Dutch brand. They do a great heated jacket that's perhaps even lighter and easier to wear than the Warm and Safe jacket. The jacket generates less heat than Warm and Safe, but it is cheaper and it requires no controller at all, in that you can control the heat settings from a button on the chest, or you can use an app that you download on your phone. Now, usually we end up suggesting Macna if somebody has a budget issue, if they don't want to go as far as the costs as Warm and Safe, or if they want to just put their toe in the water and see what heated gears are like. Yes, the Macna is not as warm as the American brand, but for the recreational rider, it's going to be more effective than any mid-layer out there, especially on a long journey. Now, the theory of heated gear is that if your core is kept warm by the heated jacket, you're going to be pumping warm blood around the body, and that should keep the extremities, in other words, your toes and fingers, fairly warm. But inevitably, our fingers are going to get cold on a long journey, especially if we don't have heated grips, which is why once people have tried a heated jacket, they often want to go on and try heated gloves. Now, quick aside here, in general, we are not fans of heated gloves that come with rechargeable batteries, those little 7.4 amp batteries that go in the cuff of the glove. Some people love them, but in principle, the power source is just not enough to generate a lot of heat for a lot of time. Some might deliver full power for an hour or more, but a glove that's connected to the bike's battery will generate more heat, and it will do so for as long as you're prepared to ride the bike to stay in the saddle. Now, Warm and Safe does an amazing heated glove. It's this one. And what's nice about it is that the heating elements run in between the fingers, so it really does keep the fingers warm. The only thing that you need to be sure of, because it's a bit thicker than a silk glove, you need to make sure that the glove that you want to put this in has enough room to allow it to go in, because it is going to make whatever glove you're wearing a little bit tighter. Last year we tried and rejected a number of gloves from Macna, and the main reason was that the cuff of those gloves was so thick that it had to be worn outside the sleeve of the jacket. And what that meant was that to connect the glove to the jacket, it had to go round a kind of, well, not a U-bend, an S-bend. It had to come out of the glove into the sleeve of the jacket and round, and then connect with the inner jacket, and it just didn't work. But now Macna has a new glove, and we think it does work. It's called the Azra. So this is the Azra glove. It's made from a mix of textile fabrics and goat's leather. You get leather, goat's leather on the palm, on the tops of the fingers, and on the bottom of the fingers. You've got textile that runs down in between the fingers. You've also got it on the wrist and down the outside of the hand. The heating elements, as with the Warm and Safe inner glove, run up and down in between the fingers and up to the thumb. And of course, that's the best place to have the heating elements, because it's your fingers themselves that are going to get cold. Some gloves have heating elements in the back of the hand and in the palm, and that's just not where you need it. We need it in the fingers. The glove has a large rubber protector for the main knuckle, and you've got smaller foam pads for what we call the minor knuckles. Here on the base of the palm, you've got a panel of what we call digi-leather. It's a synthetic leather that gives you added grip, and you've got foam protectors inside or underneath the digi-leather for the scaphoid and the heel of the palm. You've got some reflective material here on the cuff. You've got two straps on the wrist, and that's important because what we want to do, and what we couldn't do with previous Macna gloves, we need to be able to strap this wrist down tightly so it'll go inside the sleeve of a glove. Now the glove has got a waterproof membrane, and you'd expect it to. This is a winterproof glove, so you want a waterproof membrane. Interestingly, one of the advantages of a heated glove is that it causes a lot of the moisture to evaporate. So there are times where it's been raining, you turn up at your destination and your glove will be steaming because the heating elements have actually just blasted all of the moisture away. The straps on the glove, as I said, are important because it allows us to wear the cuff inside the sleeve of our jacket. On the fingers, you've got touchscreen sensitive elements that are going to enable you to use your sat nav or a phone. You've also got here on the right hand a visor wipe. So overall, as a glove, even if it weren't a heated glove, it's got a pretty comprehensive spec, and the gloves feel very comfortable. They also incorporate a little bit of a furry insulated material called isofur that traps body heat to keep it in the glove, but it doesn't make the glove feel bulky like a really heavy duty winter glove. The electrical lead sits in a compartment at the bottom part of the cuff, but what we really like about the glove is that you can control it not from, or you don't need a separate controller, you can control it from a button here on the back of the hand in the way that you can the jacket. So you just press this and there are 4 different heat settings. It's a fantastically easy way to operate the gloves, and in theory I don't know why you ever would, but you could control the gloves differently, so one could be at a 4, one could be at a 3. A couple of points. We normally recommend Macna as a brand, or often recommend Macna as a brand for those people riding smaller capacity bikes because there's less draw on the bike's battery, and if you're riding a bike of say below 400cc, the Warm and Safe brand will just drain the battery. What you need to bear in mind is if you have bought the Macna jacket on that basis, when you add the gloves, you are going to increase the draw on the bike's 12-volt battery. And you need to be aware of that because we don't want a situation where you're coming down the M1 late at night and your battery dies, you lose your lights because you've been trying to keep your jacket and your gloves on. Secondly, we are not, as I've said already, great fans of rechargeable or gloves with rechargeable batteries, but this glove does come with an option for rechargeable batteries, and we will indeed be stocking them. Now what Macna say is that with one charge you can get 5 hours of heat. In truth, that will mean you'll get 5 hours of heat if you're on the minimum setting, and that's not going to add a lot of heat. So I would still suggest that this glove is not going to give you full power for much more than, say, an hour. In conclusion, we really like these gloves. It's got all the features you would want. They're lovely to wear. They cost £199. Now, that is pretty expensive for a standard winter glove, but we have seen, and there are on the market, some battery-operated heated gloves that cost more than this. These, of course, are much better because you can use them, you can connect them to the bike. Bear in mind, however, that if you do want to use them with the rechargeable batteries, if you're going to buy a pack, that's going to cost about another £90. But I suppose the question is, what price a pair of warm and toasty hands? If you'd like to see more heated gear, then visit the website motolegends.com. If you'd like to learn more about the Azra glove, then if you click on one of the links on the screen, sometimes they're up there, sometimes they're down there, that will take you directly to a dedicated page on the website, and there you can check out the spec in a little bit more detail, you can check availability, and if you want to buy a pair of the gloves, you can do that obviously there and then. Now when you buy from us, we try to make the process simple, straightforward and risk-free as we possibly can. There's no delivery charge on any item of protected wear that you buy from us, returns are totally free, and what's more, we give you a full 12 months in which to decide whether you do want to return something to us. We have the best price promise in the business. Now, John Lewis is rightly famed for its never knowingly undersold price promise, but we go one stage better. If you find anyone selling anything that we sell at a price that is below ours, we will beat that competitor's price by a full 10%. Now, there are a few terms and conditions associated with what we call our price beat, nothing particularly onerous, but if you are going to price beat us, I suggest you go over to the website and check out what those terms and conditions are. If in the future you'd like to see bulletins from us about new products, then if you go to the website, again, at the top of the page there's a piece of script that says newsletter sign up, click on there, within seconds you'll be in business. If, however, you would prefer to get your information videographically, that is to say in this form, we'd be simply delighted if you want to become a subscriber to our YouTube channel, and you can do that by clicking on the button below. Finally, I'd like to make mention of our fabulous little shop here at Motolegends. We are based about a mile from the centre of Guildford, a mile from the railway station. And as I've suggested, it's a little shop. It's got a small footprint. But it's attached to our warehouse where we have more than £4 million of motorcycle merchandise arranged over 3 floors. And that technically makes this the second largest motorcycle apparel shop in the UK. But we think that we are far more than just the amount of gear we have here in the building. We're about service, we're about personal fitting. If you want to check us out, visit Trustpilot. We have the highest 5-star ranking in the business. When you come to visit us, we'll serve you only the finest Italian illy coffee, or we'll serve you proper Yorkshire tea in a proper teapot. And who knows, if you're lucky, you might even get to sample one of our delicious motorcycle-shaped shortbread biscuits. Anyway, this has been Chris. I hope to talk to you again soon.